Have you ever felt it? That quiet, persistent whisper from the depths of your soul telling you that this world, this reality they've constructed for you, is not quite right. It's a feeling that you're an ancient traveler wearing a costume of modernity, playing a role in a play where you never got to read the full script. They dress you in the soft fabrics of politeness. They teach you the choreography of waiting your turn. They reward your obedience with the hollow applause they call virtue. This isn't just a message. It's a key, a frequency meant to find those who are ready to unlock the door and see the truth for themselves. If this message resonates deep within your bones, if you feel that soul-level recognition, then you are in the right place. Acknowledge this connection by liking this video. Subscribe to continue your journey of awakening, and let the universe know you're ready by commenting, "I am the wolf," or simply 777 to claim this powerful vibration. You are not alone in this feeling, and this is your sign. From the moment you entered this plane of existence, a grand and subtle illusion was cast around you. They taught you a language of limitation, a vocabulary designed to keep your spirit contained. They told you that ambition was the cry of a selfish ego, that the desire for control was a moral failing, and that the hunger for true, unbridled power was the mark of a dark soul. You were meticulously raised to be a sheep, a gentle, compliant follower, grateful for the scraps thrown from the master's table. Your existence was meant to be harmless, predictable, and, most importantly, manageable. They created a pasture of pleasantries, a field of social norms and expectations, and told you that safety lay in never, ever straying from the herd. This world, they promised, was a place of order, where goodness is rewarded and humility is the highest virtue. But underneath it all, a different energy flows. Beneath the manicured lawns of civilization lies a wild, untamed wilderness. This world is a battlefield of frequencies, a cosmic arena where energies clash and vie for dominance. The lessons they taught you were not advice meant for your flourishing. They were chains meant for your control. They were spiritual sedatives designed to keep your inner wolf, your divine sovereign power, in a deep and dreamless slumber. Why? Why go to such extraordinary lengths to lull you into this state of passive compliance? The answer is both simple and profound, because they fear what you would become if you ever truly awakened. They cannot afford for you to learn the truth. The truth is that this reality is governed not by the meek, but by the masters of energy, the wolves. These are the beings, the forces, the consciousnesses that understand the hidden laws of the universe. They know that the universe is not a gentle flock, but a dynamic ecosystem of predators and prey, of active creators and passive consumers of reality. If you, a divine spark of infinite potential, were to ever realize your own true nature, you would cease to be a source of energy for their system. You would become a power unto yourself. You would become sovereign. You would become dangerous to the old order that thrives on your slumber. They need you to believe that your power is evil, so you will never dare to claim it. They need you to see ambition as arrogance, so you will never strive to create your own reality. They can't afford for you to become a wolf, because a world of awakened wolves is a world where the old shepherds lose all their power. The entire illusion would crumble to dust. Centuries ago, there were warrior sages who understood this brutal, beautiful reality. They saw the intricate dance of power and perception that governs all things. They left behind a codex, not for the sheep content in their pasture, but for the nascent predator hiding among them, for the soul beginning to stir from its long sleep. This sacred wisdom teaches a different path to mastery. It knew that to survive in a world of illusion, you must embody certain universal laws. To protect your divine light, your frequency must become so sovereign, so unshakably rooted in your own truth, that lower, parasitic energies cannot penetrate your field. They may call it fear, but it is actually a profound, undeniable respect for the sheer force of your being. To win the game of life, you must become unpredictable. The sheep walk a straight, linear path dictated by the shepherd, but the wolf moves with the fluid grace of intuition, guided by the whispers of its higher self. You must learn to operate from the quantum field of infinite possibility, making your next move unreadable to the logical, programmed minds of the Matrix. They will try to calculate you, to predict you, but they will fail because you are no longer playing by their rules. And to truly rule, not over others, but over your own destiny, you must fully embody the wolf. You must shed the heavy, scratchy wool of victimhood, of apology, of playing small. You must become the conscious, deliberate creator of your own experience. This is your initiation. This video is the first step in awakening the dormant power within you, the power to see the world as it is and to finally become who you were always meant to be. You do not enter this world with your fangs bared and a howl on your lips. No, you enter it surrounded by the herd, wrapped in the guise of a sheep. This is the first and most critical phase of your awakening, the law of spiritual stealth. They teach you to be agreeable, polite, predictable. So, for now, you will be. You will learn their language. You will understand their customs. You will even nod along with their beliefs. You will blend in with the flock so seamlessly that they will never suspect the wild heart beating within your chest. You will wear their uniform of conformity as a master of disguise, all the while building your inner fortress of power. This is not deception, it is strategy. It is the wisdom of the warrior who does not announce his presence on the battlefield. You must not cast your divine pearls of wisdom before those who would trample them underfoot. While they graze on the mundane routines of their programmed lives, you will train, you will study, you will analyze, you will become a master observer of energy. Learn how they react to the frequency of fear. See who they follow and why. Understand what they envy, for envy reveals the deepest holes in their souls. Perceive what makes them panic, for panic is the signature of a mind disconnected from its own power. Every detail, every subtle shift in their energy field is a vital piece of information. It is the ammunition you will use not to destroy them, but to navigate their world with effortless grace and to shield your own sacred energy. You become the fox, the spiritual alchemist. The fox is clever, unnoticed, and deadly precise when the moment calls for it. He is a master of appearances. Machiavelli wrote that appearances are everything. This is a profound spiritual truth. The unawakened can only perceive the surface, the appearance of things. They cannot read the deeper frequencies. A prince, he said, should appear merciful, faithful, humane, religious, and upright, but he must be prepared to be the opposite when necessity dictates. This means you must master your outer presentation. Let your smile be a mask. Let your handshake be a tool. Give them the predictable, agreeable surface they expect. They see the calm pond and never suspect the powerful currents moving in the depths. They trust the surface, and in their blindness, they reveal all their weaknesses. Use their blindness as your cloak. But inside, you must prepare. Cultivate your inner wolf. Train your will. Harden your mind. This is not achieved through loud declarations or grand pronouncements. It is forged in the silent fire of quiet, relentless discipline. Your greatest enemy is not the lion who roars in the arena. It is your own ego's premature need to be seen and validated. Because once you are seen, you become a target. Once you are perceived as a threat, the sheep unite. They have no teeth individually, but in a panicked herd, they can trample even the strongest lion. So be smarter. Let them think you are harmless. Let them believe you are one of them. All the while, you are building your strategy, sharpening your claws behind the curtain of their ignorance. This is the law of concealment. You must be underestimated. You must be invisible. You must be forgotten until the moment it is far too late for them to do anything about it. And when that moment arrives, when divine timing aligns, you will strike. Your move must feel like lightning from a clear blue sky. Unexpected, unforgiving, unstoppable. But that strike means nothing if you reveal yourself too soon. In this world of actors and imitators, of masks and marionettes, you must learn the highest form of strategy, patience behind a mask. You are not here to be liked. You are not here to be loud. You are here to be dangerous. And true danger, real danger, never, ever announces itself. You have blended in. You have learned their habits. Now begins the second phase, The hunt. This is where the old paradigms are shattered. This is where the sheep who stand in the way of destiny are not brutalized, but simply moved aside. Not by brute force, but by the quiet, invisible influence of a predator who is already inside the system, who knows every secret passage and every hidden lever. Power, the ancient sages taught, is rarely seized through open conflict. It is seized through the subtle manipulation of perception, through the mastery of the unseen currents of influence. The wolf does not chase the sheep across the field, screaming and wasting energy. He herds them. He guides them subtly, with a nudge here, a glance there. They think they are free, but they are moving exactly where he wants them to go. That is how you must operate in the hunt. You must learn to control the room without ever sitting on the throne. You must control outcomes without ever showing your hand. You don't need a title to have power, you just need influence. And true influence is invisible to the weak. The sheep think power comes from a crown, from a formal declaration. The wolf knows that the real power sits in the shadows behind the throne, whispering, advising, manipulating. You don't need to be the face, you need to be the force behind the face. So, you must start by learning the power players in every environment you enter. Who are the true gatekeepers? Who really makes the decisions? Who pretends to lead, but is actually controlled by unseen forces? Identify them, study them, and then you will build alliances. Not with everyone, not based on the fleeting emotions of friendship. You will build strategic alliances based on leverage. Complement their egos, echo their beliefs, mirror their values. Let them think they are guiding you while you are quietly and masterfully guiding them. This is the fox in motion. Smiling, agreeable, always listening, but always 2 moves ahead of everyone in the room. The masses, as Machiavelli warned, follow emotion, not logic. They follow symbols, not truth. So, you must become the symbol they trust, while you control the truth they never see. While others argue and posture, you observe. While they fight for attention and validation, you accumulate silence, favors, secrets, and leverage. And when the time comes, you will use it. You will not force your will upon them. You will make them believe it was their idea all along. You will let them think they are chasing their own goals, while you are steering them inexorably toward yours. This is how kings are overthrown without a single sword being drawn. This is how generals fall without a single battle being fought. This is how you win the game before it has even been officially announced. The hunt is not just about control, it's about impression. When they think you're weak, they expose themselves. When they think you're harmless, they speak freely. When they think you're loyal, they confide in you. But the moment you show true ambition, the sheep panic. They band together. They will try to destroy you, not because you are evil, but simply because you are not one of them. So do not play the game openly. Tilt it from the shadows. The perfect predator doesn't need to intimidate. He just needs to be inevitable. You want people to realize, far too late, that every move they made played directly into your grand strategy. Your silence was your power. Your patience was your weapon. Your invisibility was your shield. Machiavelli didn't write The Prince to inspire morality. He wrote it to expose the real game of politics, a game where goodness is often just theater, and ruthlessness is the key to survival. Power is not just about strategy, it's about timing. A sharp sword is useless if it is swung too early. A brilliant plan is worthless if it is revealed too soon. The wolf understands a single, profound principle. A single, well-timed strike is worth more than 1,000 reckless, scattered attacks. In the wild, the wolf does not chase endlessly. He watches, he waits, he stalks, and then, one move. Fast, fatal, final. This is the Machiavellian principle of delayed aggression. Let others rush. Let them show their ambition. Let them burn themselves out with desperation and raw, uncontrolled emotion. You wait, you observe, and you strike only when they are blind, tired, and overconfident, because that is when they are most vulnerable and least prepared. The sheep, in their simplicity, move constantly. They panic at shadows. They react emotionally. They cannot sit still. They cannot wait. So they waste their precious energy in pointless motion. They waste their advantage in noise and chaos. The wolf wastes nothing. This is a truth Machiavelli understood deeply. He wrote that those who act without calculation are swept away by the winds of fortune. But those who are patient, who time their move with brutal surgical accuracy, they do not just ride the winds of fortune, they bend fortune to their will. In politics, in war, in life, this rule holds true. The perfect moment is rare, but it is real. And if you have prepared in silence, if you have cultivated your power in the shadows, your one strike can shift the entire game in a single move. Consider the great rulers of history, the cunning generals, the shrewd kings. They did not charge blindly into the fray. They provoked, they studied, they maneuvered. And only when their enemy was relaxed, complacent, and believed the danger had passed, only then did they attack. You must think in the same way. Your opponent must feel utterly safe. Let them believe they have won. Let them drop their guard. Let them speak without filters. Let them laugh at you. Their comfort is your greatest opportunity. Then, when every piece on the cosmic chessboard is in place, you destroy their position politely, silently, completely. This could be in business, in a relationship, in a power struggle. The arena doesn't matter. Power always favors the one who controls the clock. Most people are hopelessly addicted to urgency. They react to every slight, every insult, every obstacle with immediate, unfiltered emotion. The wolf doesn't, because the wolf knows something critical. Timing multiplies power. An average move at the perfect time can decisively outweigh a brilliant move made too early. Therefore, you must strike not when you are emotional, but when the outcome is inevitable. The world will not simply give you power. It gives you windows, openings, glimpses into the weaknesses of others. If you are watching closely, you will see it. The hesitation in their voice, the subtle shift in their alliances, the moment they get lazy or arrogant, that is when you attack. And when you do not hesitate. Hesitation is death. Do not second guess. Do not seek their approval. Do not look back. As the philosopher said, a man who hesitates is lost. You have disguised your ambition. You have influenced the game. Now it's time to cash in the debts. One move, one betrayal, one reveal, one precise, ruthless strike, and the entire landscape changes forever. That is what the wolf does. That is what the ancient masters taught you. You do not fight to impress. You fight to eliminate. Let them ask, when did this happen? Let them panic. It is too late. You were never out of the game. You were never weak. You were simply waiting for the exact second the blade would matter most. And now, it is over. Even wolves run in packs, but they do not confuse proximity with loyalty. Let that be your first warning. Just because someone stands beside you does not mean they stand with you. The old masters understood alliances better than any idealist ever could. They knew that alliances are tools, not sacred oaths. And tools are useful only when they serve a specific function. You will need allies, yes. You will need favors, access, information, and protection. But the one thing you must never, ever need is trust. Because trust is an emotion, and emotions are the currency of the sheep. Trust blinds you. It lowers your guard. It hands your enemies a blade with your fingerprints already on it. The wolf runs with the pack, but he watches every single member. He knows that a smile can hide a grudge, that a gift can be a bribe, that a compliment can be a setup. You must learn to see all of it, not with the frantic energy of paranoia, but with the calm, detached clarity of strategic awareness. The ancient texts warn that men are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, and greedy. That is not cynicism. It is a fundamental law of survival instinct. Your survival, therefore, depends on understanding that every ally has a limit, a price, a breaking point, a secret resentment. The question is not if they will betray you. The question is when and for what. So here is the rule. Use people, but do not believe in them. Give loyalty only when it buys you power. Offer help only when it secures you leverage. Keep friendships only if they serve your long game. This is not cruelty. This is the cold, hard mathematics of power. When building your pack, your inner circle, follow this code. Choose the useful, not the likable. Keep everyone at arm's length, even those you hold closest. Share your plans only in carefully curated fragments. Let no one see the full picture but you. Even your inner circle should be treated like chess pieces on a board. Each one is useful, but none are irreplaceable. Because the moment someone feels irreplaceable, they become dangerous. They become arrogant, entitled, and rebellious. They stop being loyal and start believing that they deserve your throne. And when that happens, you eliminate them. Quietly, efficiently, and without a single moment of hesitation. The wolf doesn't argue with a sick member of the pack that threatens the health of the whole. He isolates it, and then he ends it. Let them call you ruthless. Let them call you cold. They are sheep. Their morality is a construct shaped by their weakness. Yours is a morality forged by the necessities of victory. Here is the truth. Loyalty is a currency, and like any currency, its value fluctuates depending on fear, opportunity, and self-interest. So your real weapon isn't trust, it's dependence. Make them need you. Make them believe that staying loyal to you is in their absolute best interest, not because of honor, but because of survival. Reward them when they are useful. Remind them, subtly, of what you control. Let them know, kindly, gently, that crossing you would cost them far more than they can ever afford to pay. This is how you rule the pack, not with the fleeting warmth of love, not with the naive blindness of trust, but with the unshakable foundation of leverage and the cold, hard readiness to walk completely alone the moment they become a liability. Remember, you are not part of the herd. You are the wolf walking alongside it, for now. And if they turn, you strike. If they fail, you replace. If they challenge you, you end. You have hidden your true nature. You have manipulated the game. You have struck with precision. You have used others without ever truly trusting them. Now comes the final, glorious step. Command respect. Not with love, but with fear. This is Machiavelli's most infamous teaching, and it is also the most profoundly misunderstood. He was not telling you to be a tyrant. He was not glorifying cruelty for its own sake. He was revealing a fundamental truth of human and cosmic nature that makes weak people deeply uncomfortable. Love is temporary, but fear lasts. The sheep will love you only when you serve their needs. The moment you stop being useful, the moment you demand something of them, they will forget everything you ever did for them. Their love is soft, conditional, and fragile. Fear, on the other hand, creates caution. Fear makes them think twice before they dare to speak your name in vain. Fear ensures they never, ever dare to betray you, not because they don't want to, but because they do not know the full extent of what you are capable of. That is real power. He said a ruler should be feared in such a way that if he is not loved, he at least avoids hatred. This means your fear must be a controlled, strategic, precise instrument. You do not scream. You do not threaten. You act. And you let the silence that follows your actions do all the talking for you. Your reputation must do the heavy lifting. When you walk into a room, they should feel the air change, the frequency shift. When your name is mentioned, people should instinctively lower their voices. Not because you are evil, but because you are untouchable. That is the throne you must build for yourself. A throne built not from the shifting sands of affection, but from the solid bedrock of calculated dread. Be the one person they simply cannot afford to cross. Be the name they cannot erase. Be the shadow that stays with them. Be the memory they can't forget. And here is the great paradox, the final secret of the wolf's power. Once you are truly feared, the right people will love you for it, not the sheep. They will never understand. But the other wolves, the other sovereign beings who recognize power, who value strength, who understand the brutal rules of this world, those are the people worth keeping close. The rest, let them tremble. Let them build myths about you. Let them speculate. Let them project their own fears onto the canvas of your silence. Because what they fear most is not what you've done. It's what they know you could do. That is how a wolf rules in a world full of weak smiles and empty praise. Be the one that no one dares to cross. That is your throne. That is your legacy. That is your revenge. You've just learned how to move like a wolf in a world of sheep. But knowledge is useless without action. So, ask yourself, will you forget this message? Or will you finally sharpen your claws? Because wolves do not wait for permission. They take what is theirs. Subscribe if you are done being prey. Like this video if you are ready to rule in silence and strike without warning. And remember, power isn't given, it's taken. And fear is your throne.